You are listening to the Livefire radio show with Pastor Beto, brought to you by New Life Church FC. You may listen to the Livefire radio show on your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Tune in Monday through Friday to the best interviews, testimonies, and teachings of the Word by Pastor Beto. ¡Súbele!
Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I sure can.
Yes, thank you so much. Es la tecnología, tuve que cambiar cámaras y tuve que hacer muchas cosas como en 5 segundos. But that's technology. But we have none other than, I'll call you mi hermana Mónica. Mi hermana Mónica de la Cruz Hernández, running for District 15 here in the state of Texas. And it's an honor to have you on board on the Livefire radio show. Hermana Mónica, tell us a little bit about yourself and just go for it. And we're going to have a great conversation because we know that here, especially here in North Texas, even though it's not your district, we are rooting for you. So go ahead, Hermana Mónica.
Well, thank you so much. First, it's an honor to be here with you speaking. A little bit about myself. I am born and raised in the Rio Grande Valley. My mother was a single mom and single-handedly raised my brother and I. She always told us, you're so lucky to live on this side of the river. Why? Because we have great opportunity in this wonderful country. You know, my grandfather actually served in World War II in the United States Navy, and my brother served 20 years in the U.S. Air Force. So I have a deep love of this country, and I'm proud and humbled to be running right now as your Republican candidate for U.S. Congress here in District 15.
Wow. You know what? One of the things that stands out in the Rio Grande Valley, because we know in the Rio Grande Valley we have such a close connection con la gente mexicana, you know, and I know a lot of times and it is it is so difficult for us to separate the nationalities, and especially when running in conservative issues. And as a Christian, I know for sure. I mean, we preach here at New Life Church, and everybody will tell you that our preaching. But we know that God loves humanity. Obviously, God created us in His own image. The Bible says, but at the same time, there are laws, you know, and those are the sticky issues, Hermana Monica, especially facing, you know, the conservative politician, and even the conservative human being, or the conservative Christian, the conservative citizen, because we do have to take care of the border, you know, and bottom line is that what's happening right now, it's not good what's happening right now with the government in place right now. Okay, and I know I'm throwing you a real fastball, but I know you can hit this one off out of the park. But tell us a little bit about the situation right now in the border.
Well, you know what? I'll lead with this, is that we have a crisis on the border, and it not only affects District 15, but it affects the entire nation. You mentioned earlier today that I'm not running in your district. While I'm not running in your district, it's still important for me to receive both spiritual and financial support, because I'm a conservative voice that's a conservative vote for conservative legislation. What's happening on our border has two significant, I'm going to say, damages. The first is, it is a humanitarian crisis. We are seeing children who are dropped off on private property, children as young as 3 years old that are abandoned by cartels on private property. We have reports from farmers and ranchers of dead people that are found on their ranches trying to make the hard, long, hot track to to civilization. We also have dead, headless people that are found on people's
Mhm.
property. And the tale behind that is if you don't pay up, and believe me, there's a lot of money that is being made by the cartels on the Mexican side. And guess what? If you don't pay up, you are going to die. And if your family doesn't pay off, your children, even if they're 3 years old, are going to be abandoned on private property. This is a huge humanitarian crisis, a sex trafficking crisis. When women can't pay, then guess what? They're used as sex slaves, and they have to pay in those respects. And we hear these stories over and over and over again. When we put God in our life, number one, we have to take care of the human, as you said, no matter the nationality. And this is a humanitarian crisis. We also have an obligation to our country of national security. And this is a national security crisis. I wish that people all around this country and all around this world love this beautiful country as much as I did. And I wish that everybody crossing our borders was coming with good intentions. But unfortunately, we have to verify and check that that is their intention. And right now, we're not doing that. And because we're not doing that, our nation is at a security risk, which ultimately means you and I are at a national security risk. So it is a complete catastrophe down here.
Yes, and putting our foot down and fighting for this country is absolutely necessary. And I know by having a last name que es mexicano, that doesn't mean that we're just gonna lie down and allow uh, the the back scene agenda that is trying to come into this country and using the border as a um because we know that the media has a lot to do with it. I mean, my lord, and I don't want to focus on that, but we do need the border to be secured, like you said, because there are things that are happening in the border that the average American doesn't know about. And us growing up in the Rio Grande Valley, I will tell you that we've seen a lot of violence and the raping of women, the kidnapping of children. My daughter, I raised my a little girl when she was a baby, and I gave her my last name. And when she was a baby, she got kidnapped in Matamoros. She got kidnapped in Brownsville and was taken to Matamoros. By the grace of God, we were able to rescue her 3 years later, almost 3 years later. And now she, thank God, she's a nurse. She's married. She's married to a Marine. She lives in Austin. I mean, amazing testimony. But there are all those things that happen in the border, and we do need to secure them. And the media is not covering all that. But anyway, there's a lot of other issues that you stand for us conservatives. And another issue is the Second Amendment. Tell us a little bit about the Second Amendment.
Well, look, I'm going to first lead with something you mentioned, and that is Hispanics along the border. In 2020, we had an awakening down here, and President Trump, while he was a colorful president, what he did was he brought awareness to the issues that were impacting Hispanics along the border, and that not only impacted, like I said, the border, but were impacting the nation through this border crisis. That being said, one of the awakenings that we had was that we realized down here, And we saw this through the turn of the votes towards the Republican conservative side, is that the Republican values are the conservative values. And truly, when you get to the root of Hispanics believe in conservative issues. One of them being the Second Amendment. And I go and I tell people all the time, I'm like, look, the Second Amendment, when you talk to people like myself, like yourself, even though we might be second and third generations, we've heard stories of our grandparents and our great grandparents who were in a civil war in Mexico. You know, I haven't been across the border in about 6 years. Why? Because the cartels have guns. But all the private citizens in Mexico, there's gun control over there and they're not allowed to have guns. So we know right here on the border what it's like and what it means not to be able to have your right to own a gun to protect your family and your personal property. Because not only do we see it 5 miles away, the impact of gun control, but we've heard stories from our grandparents and our great grandparents of how they had to flee their motherland countries, such as Cuba, such as Mexico, such as Venezuela, because they could not protect their families. So protecting the Second Amendment is critical to us being a capitalist country where we, the people, are the people who actually rule this country and not big government.
Yes, taking away our guns is what will happen. Will be tyranny. The next thing that will happen by taking away the citizens' guns will be tyranny. In Mexico, an individual cannot own a gun, and if he does own a gun, if he's found with a bullet, you go to prison. Bullets, not a gun, but a bullet. When you are convicted of a crime in America, you are prohibited of being around guns and bullets. And I keep going to bullets because guns are no good without bullets.
Mm-hmm.
And in Mexico, it's the same way. When the government are going to be able to take away our guns, we best believe that we will start. We are already being put in formation to be under their control, and all these things are. It's rapidly moving forward. And yes, we need somebody that can fight for the Second Amendment, so that we may have the right to continue to bear arms. Or the examples is Cuba, South America, and Mexico, and those are the examples. I'm going to say something. I'm gonna go ahead and call you just Congresswoman. Ya de una vez, porque I know you're going to win. What happens? What happens? Or what's going to happen if the church or Texans don't speak up and do not go vote? What's going to happen?
Well, look, we already know that only 25% of Christians actually get to the polls. And so it is critical that the Judeo-Christian community step up and say, we will no longer sit back quietly. And I think the right word is politely, right? We're always taught in the Bible, respect your mother, respect your father, treat people as you would want to be treated. And the problem is that we have been so polite over so many years that we're seeing these radical changes happening within our country. And look, if Judeo-Christians do not get to the polls, do not get to our school board meetings. Do not get to our school board meetings where in Austin you have elementary kids that are being taught about transgender sex, oral sex. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about child pornography. I mean, it
Yes.
is so important that we get to, just on a local level, our school board meetings, our city council meetings, and get out and voice your concern. At this point, the left is trying to cancel us, and we must stand up and get to the polls. Should we not? We are going to see a big fight in 2022 and 2024 for the state of Texas. People like myself, conservatives like yourself, are just critical to leading the conservative, and really what I say, the war on Christianity that is happening right now. And we must stand together and fight back.
Yes. I have been warning the church. I have been warning the church that what's being escalated is a belief, a pushing towards a socialistic country. I mean, that is the agenda, and that is the agenda. And if people don't see that, is because they're asleep, or they're being entertained by the socialistic. You can even call it. There was a time in the 40s and the 50s where communism was one of the things that they feared a lot in Hollywood. But this is where this country is going, and we need the church to preach the truth. We need pastors. We need pastors with backbone. We need Christians to go vote. We need men, women of God to run for local city offices, including city council, mayor, and all these other offices that are available, that are being funded by something that is very evil, and that is to bring this whole country into a socialistic rule. But like I said, yes, absolutely, we need to get out there and vote. 25% of the Christians, that would probably even be a high number. That's even probably a high number. My wife and I, we were so proud this year because we voted together, and yeah, we have that right to go and vote. In America, you need to go out and vote. A lot of issues you're fighting for. We talked a little bit about human trafficking. We talked a little bit about immigration. Talk to us a little bit about talk to us a little bit about um, healthcare.
Yes. So healthcare is one of the things that is very important to our district, especially down here in the Rio Grande Valley. Very sadly, we lead the nation in obesity and diabetes. And so, under President Trump, what he did was he really reduced the cost of diabetic insulin and prescription drug medication. And sadly, under the Biden administration, we have seen the cost of this severely rise for people. The fact of the matter is that we need less government in our day-to-day activities so that we can reduce the bureaucracy, especially in healthcare, to make it more affordable. And there's things such as the PBMs, that is the middleman in pharmacy, that we need to get out of the system. The bottom line here is, at the end of the day, we need less government interference in our life, in our capitalist system, so that we can be more efficient, effective, and cost effective, that will ultimately help the consumer.
Absolutely, healthcare is absolutely one of those topics where I remember a time where we would, you go work, you paid for a decent uh, paid insurance. It had a decent copay. Now it's skyrocket copay. And so I just don't understand how somebody can get. I mean, if you go to Canada, for instance, let's just talk a little bit about Canada,
Mm.
because Canada has what is called a socialistic medicine. That means that if you're going to go to the hospital, you have basically what's called social, ¿verdad? En México le decían el número social, ¿verdad? And you would go to the doctor, you go to them, and but you would have to wait months to go see a cardiologist. I mean, by that time, I don't know, you're probably dead. I don't know. Here in America, we have one of the best. Uh, I mean, medicine programs in the whole world, I would say. And what a tragedy that a country that has been a country of manufacturing, all of a sudden, what happened to our manufacturing? Donald Trump was bringing back the manufacturing, and now it seems like it's gone back to where they had planned to get manufacturing out, and now we've become a consuming nation. And healthcare is one of those things where I just don't see how we're going to be able to pay for healthcare, and the opposite parties are really taking advantage of the healthcare. And that's one of the things that, to me, as I'm getting a little bit old, my mom, she's 84 years old, and I thank God for all the years that my dad worked, and because of those years that my dad worked, she's able to get her Medicare, et cetera, this and the other. But even all that's limited. It's limited. But anyway, you have a lot uh, on you on that one, on the healthcare, because I just don't see the answer. I try to study it as
Well,
much. Go ahead, go ahead.
look, I will say is that we have example after example from Canada. We have Canadians that cross our borders into the United States to be able to be seen in a timely manner. And let's
Right.
just look at the most recent, Cuba. Cubans
Yeah,
will tell you right now, socialism does not work. The
that's right.
only way to sustain socialism is through a capitalist system. That's the bottom line. If you don't have a capitalist system, then you have a government controlled system. And when I talk to people about healthcare and it being government run, my question to them is point to one system that is government run that you feel is a success. You can look at social security system, you can look at retirement plans. They do not work. We must lean into a capitalist system because that is the system where you can get quality education, quality healthcare, and reduced healthcare costs.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, you get your work cut out there, Congresswoman. Let's talk about. I mean, we could talk about pro life. Glory to God. Pro life, pro life. God is a God of life. He's a procreator of life. Satan is about stealing, killing, and destroying, and no human being to have the right to kill another life. And I know that's a very sensitive topic, but it's a topic that is out there, and unfortunately, I believe it comes down to the matter of the heart. And in order for the person to see that, I truly believe that there has to be a renewing of the mind, so that there can be a transformation, and to literally see, uh, that basically killing a baby is not something that anybody should have the right to do. And I applaud our governor. I applaud. I mean, there was a time where maybe I didn't like him, but I didn't know him, but I got to meet him personally, and had a great conversation with him. Learned about his testimony, and know how he's fighting for our conservative values and surrounding himself with men and women just like yourself that are going to fight for the life of the babies. But if you would like to touch on that, go ahead.
Absolutely. Look, I am a pro-life candidate. I'm endorsed by the Texas Right to Life. And the bottom line is that where this abortion has evolved to, what started off as, oh, an emergency, a rape, incestual, well, you bend a little bit. And now
Hmm.
in 2021, we have 9-month abortions that are celebrated in New York City. It is demonic, it is disgusting, and
Yes.
somehow the left has turned that into a women's health issue, which it is absolutely not. This is, like you said, this is a matter of the heart. And this is why it is so critical that people, Christians, get involved, because we have to speak for the unborn. And I often say this is that a baby's life is important and they cannot speak for themselves. So we have a duty to speak for them. And what is happening to our country, if you ever sit through testimony from an abortion or former abortion clinic workers, and they tell you the disgusting and disruptive way that they literally tear a fetus's body apart, it will sicken you. And I think that is why we still must fight and stand together. My district is very conservative, and everything from down here in the south of the district on the border all the way up to Guadalupe County, it is a conservative district, and I'm proud and honored to have the endorsement of the Texas Right to Life.
Yes, and we want to talk about those counties, including Karnes County, I believe, Guadalupe County, Hidalgo County, Jim Hogg County, Wilson County, Duval County, and Brooks County, and Live Oaks County. Are those is that District 15?
Wilson, also Wilson
And
County as
also
well.
and include Wilson on there.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let me make a statement here. Should a candidate, or let's just say this, not a candidate, should a congressman, should they be receiving finances from China? Is that something that do you think that's healthy? Don't you think that's a little bit I don't think that is good for the country.
Look, both Democrats, Republicans, independents, nonpartisan, everybody should be disturbed when a U.S. representative has funds up to 250,000 in the Bank of China. I mean, last time I checked,
Mm.
congressmen and women did not work on commission, and somehow this congressman has been able to earn up to $250,000 that he has in the Bank of China, our greatest adversary. I mean, right now, China is disrupting Taiwan and Japan, threatening to go to war. I mean, this is substantial for the United States because it may pull us into a war. And why our current congressman would have bank accounts, a U.S. representative, any U.S. representative with the Bank of China, should be alarming and disturbing to any voter on both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely. It seems like a little bit of sellout. I believe there's a there's a selling out, for lack of a better word. Excuse me. I don't know how else to put it, but one of the things that I was telling the church last night, that at some point when the person becomes the borrower, eventually they will become a slave to the lender.
Mhm.
And when you take something from someone, eventually they're going to ask something in return. And for a politician to be in the in bed with a foreign nation that is number one, not only anti-Christ, but they are anti-God. Uh, that's one of the dangers that is very close to America. And anyway, I just don't see how anybody could be a congressman and everybody think that is okay. I don't get it, but I'm glad that you're pointing that out because in your last election, you received 6,500. Well, Gonzalez received. I'm sorry, 6,588 more votes than you. I mean, that's like a 3% difference. A 3% difference in a part of South Texas that is blue. Am I correct on that?
Well, I will tell you that we did fall short 2.8%, which made us the most competitive congressional race in the entire state of Texas. And that was very exciting because it was a pure grassroots movement. Now, I will tell you this. The bluest part of my district sits right here on the border. Duval County, Hogg County, Brooks, and Hidalgo County. In Hidalgo County, which is the largest voting body, we doubled the Republican vote in Hidalgo County. In this district, we swung the district 18% positive towards Republican. I mean, what happened in 2020 was historic, and it was a true testament to the awakening of the Hispanic people. And I say Hispanic because this district is 86% Hispanic, but it's a testimony of the true awakening of Hispanics towards political sides. And they are waking up now, understanding that their values align with the conservative and the Republican movement. And I know that was just the beginning. In 2022, we are going to win this district and we are going to flip many other seats. We've already seen it. We elected 2 judges since this election. And for the first time in over 30 years, we elected our first Republican mayor in McAllen. Although that's a nonpartisan position, he was the past GOP chair. So it's absolutely historic.
Yeah, so I believe I know you got to leave to a meeting, but I believe that red is covering South Texas and let it be covered with red. And also, I just want to say thank you so very much. And we have to do this again.
Yes.
We'll have to do this again. I will have a better format. We'll have a little different format for you, and so that we can go into these more current issues as we get closer to this next election. And also, we also want to say hello and prayers for your husband, Johnny Hernandez, and your 3 children. And
Yes.
all of you reside. Do you all reside in Seguin or
We,
Edinburgh? I believe you
yeah,
reside in
we
Seguin.
actually reside in Edinburgh. Edinburgh is
Amen.
where our main home is, and then we have a home in Guadalupe County.
Amazing. Well, I will be in the Rio Grande Valley on August 21st through the 28th. And I
Oh,
can't wait out there to hopefully I can go find a sticker que diga
I
Monica for
love that.
Congress and go and flash it out there. And but anyway,
Me
it's
too.
been such an honor, Monica. I feel like como que ya la conozco de mucho tiempo, and I hope that this is not the last. And as we get closer to the election, that you will come back on the Livefire radio show. I'm gonna let you just say a last few words and just speak to your constituents.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for having me today. Again, I may not be physically in your district, but supporting me both through prayer, through words of affirmation, through financial support. All of that makes a difference because ultimately my vote is a conservative vote for conservative legislation that's going to affect you and your family. I invite your listeners to reach out to me. Look for me at monicaforcongress.us on my website, or follow me on my social media sites at Monica for Congress. You can see me there on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's fantastic, and I would love to come back. I feel so honored to be invited.
Amen. Well, welcome to the Livefire Radio Show,
Thank you.
and we're gonna do this once again. Thank you so much. We're gonna continue to
Thank
pray for
you.
you, and when you
Yes.
become Congresswoman, we're gonna be with you there celebrating.
God bless you for that. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
Dios le bendiga. Adiós.
Bye bye.
That was Sister Monica de la Cruz Hernandez running for Congress, and I believe that she's going to be our next Congresswoman for District number 15, a very competitive district in South Texas. They're part of the Rio Grande Valley. She's a Valley girl, grew up with a single mom. So that should be very encouraging for a lot of you that maybe perhaps me. I had the benefit and the blessing to grow up with a father and a mother, but not many have been able to grow up with a father and a mother. But Congresswoman Monica de Hernandez de la Cruz Hernandez, she was raised by a single mother, and now she is about to be the District 15 next Congresswoman here of the state of Texas. So, very honored for her to be here on the Live Fire Radio Show. Very excited to see what's going to happen in the next few months, and we're very excited to have her hopefully once again here on the Live Fire Radio Show. Very excited. My grandson is on the phone. He's showing me a little heart there. I gave him a little heart back, and we're getting ready to go swimming tomorrow. But one of the things I also I want to let you all know is that here on the Live Fire Radio Show, we're going to continue to talk with politicians, including we got some great lineup coming up. We got none other than Senator Dale Fowler from the state of Illinois going to be here on the Live Fire Radio Show real soon. And then, of course, we have other politicians that are going to, and you can be from the left and you can be from the right. Hey, come on to the Live Fire Radio Show. But we're very excited about this format. There was a time where I was interviewing a lot of politicians, and then I stopped. I stopped for a little bit. I kind of changed the format. But today, my computer wasn't working. My audio wasn't working. I mean, it was a mess. Amen. But glory to God, it got fixed, and hopefully here as soon as possible, we're gonna be able to do a better quality format for the people that are come on the show. We also want to have a show to where we're gonna promote businesses. You know, there are a lot of women that are opening up businesses here in the DFW and also in Houston. One of my dear friends, La Hermana Monica Cortez, is going to be with us real soon. Hopefully, hopefully, we're going to try to get her on tomorrow if we get all the information. And also another friend of mine, her name is Lisa Sosa. Also, she has a tattoo removing business, and we're gonna get her on the show as well. My grandson is sending me pictures. It's so funny. I'm trying not to laugh, but other thing. Also, the Pastor to Pastor podcast is already on the roll. You can search for it. I'm gonna start moving all those podcasts from Pastor to Pastor to all the podcast formats, including iHeartRadio, all the other ones, iTunes and Google Tunes and all those. They're all going to be there so that you guys can enjoy our Pastor to Pastor. And then, of course, the Live Fire Radio Show. I'm going to continue teaching. Don't worry about it. I'm going to continue teaching. But right now, we're doing a lot of interviews, and I want to bring in a lot of people because I'm able to. I have a great format that I'm able to bring people in, and all you got to do is just click on that link, and boom, you're on with us here on this amazing sound and great video. But for those of you that are here, I'm gonna show you something. Let me see if you guys can see this. I'm gonna see. This is my grandson right there, and he's saying hi right there. Say hello to everybody. Let me see if I can raise his volume, and he wants to say hello to everybody. Go ahead and say hello to everybody, Lincoln.
Hi.
You are on the Livefire radio show this afternoon with your popo, Pastor Beto. You want to tell the people where we're going tomorrow?
Hawaiian Falls.
We're going to Hawaiian Falls. I did not know we're going to Hawaiian Falls.
We are.
Is that your mom laughing in the background?
Yes.
Oh my Lord! All right, well, we may not go to Hawaiian Falls, but we'll go to some other falls. But anyway, thank you for calling the Livefire Radio Show. I love you. Bye. That's my grandson. But anyway, God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Sister Monica de la Cruz Hernandez, running for District 15 here in the state of Texas, the most competitive race in the nation. It is the third most competitive race. That was a hot ticket. I have no idea how we were able to pull that one off, but many of those coming here on the Livefire Radio Show. But anyway, you're listening to the number one show on broadcast. Number one show, Livefire Radio Show. Hola más, súbele.
You are listening to the Livefire Radio Show with Pastor Beto, brought to you by New Life Church FC. You may listen to the Livefire Radio Show on your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Tune in Monday through Friday to the best interviews, testimonies, and teachings of the Word by Pastor Beto. ¡Súbele!